All right, so we are live. Don't see anybody here yet. So I think I'm about a minute early so far. So I thought this would be recorded, but apparently it will not be recorded. I just got a notification that I have to upgrade if I want this to go to be recorded onto YouTube. So that's kind of a shame. So we'll see if hopefully a couple people come on shortly. There we go. Got a few people here. Three people so far. Oh, don't know what's going on. My computer screen went. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. My computer went black. It's the weirdest thing. Almost like it needed to be charged, but it's almost fully charged before I came on. So yeah, I put a link when I announced this. I put a link in the post. So if anybody wanted to come on and join, you are welcome to. You can have up to 6 guests at a time, which I think they do that just to make it more of a smoother experience. So let's say we have 8 people here with me. No, no guests. I'll be honest with you. If I had the opportunity. Hello, Stefano. Hello, Marcelo. God bless you as well. Hope you are all doing well. But yeah, I gave the option to make it more of a hey, Michael, how you doing, buddy? Um, to make it more of an interactive thing. If anybody wanted to join in and actually appear on the stream, they were welcome to. But I understand if some people or most people or all people don't want to. Um, so I hope all of you had a good weekend. We had a crazy busy weekend. My wife and I. Um, just from Christmas, trying to put everything away from the holidays. Trying to we got the tree down yesterday. We got almost a 7.5 foot tree, but it's huge. It's why we just bought it this year. We had to take all the decorations down and just put stuff away. And Saturday was just trying to clean up around the house and uh, yeah, Marcelo. But yeah, it's just been it's hard to try to get back into the flow after the holidays. It was a very, very busy, probably the busiest Christmas I think I've ever had in my entire life, especially since I've been married. And I've been married, I have to think, 15 years. But I've been with my wife for 17. But yeah, this was the busiest Christmas we ever had. We met, I think, 6 different times with families and relatives and had people over here. Just as you can all imagine, you're probably all in the same boat. Um, You know what, Michael? It's funny. I thought it was tomorrow as well because I set this up, I believe, Friday or Saturday, and I was going to do it Tuesday, and then I was talking to a buddy of mine who he has his own podcast network that he does. He said, "No, dude, do it Monday and advertise as soon as you can." So um, I went back and checked on the post, and it did say Monday. So I don't know. Half the time, I don't even know what day of the week it is. Feel like I feel that way every so often, but my voice is good. Usually, when I get on these things, I swear, as I said in my last live stream, that when I do these, it seems like the second I get on, my voice goes bad. So I do have actually have some Monsters, some sugar free tea lemonade. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but it's really really good. It's kind of my drink of choice. So 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks until the Elvis on Tour box set comes out. I will be buying or pre-ordering mine. I'll probably do it on Amazon. It's the cheapest I've seen it anywhere. It's 80. I want to say it's 81.98 or 81.99 with free shipping on Amazon. I've considered other outlets to get it, but I decided that I was just going to go with I was going to go with Amazon and just do that. So that's probably where I'm going to get it from. But I have seen pictures. I don't know if any of you have seen some of the pictures that came out probably about a month ago, right? Probably early December, of the whole inside, the box set of it all open up, and the discs themselves. So it looks like a pretty neat package. Let me just see something. Bear with me here. Nope. No guess. I guess nobody. I guess everybody's too shy to come on. So no worries. But that comes out. In addition to my FTD CD collection, I got, I think, two more coming today. So I'm rapidly trying to build that, inching closer to 100 titles. So it's gonna be a long process, but I'm really hoping to get all. I don't know the exact number of just the FTD, not counting the books, not counting the set. Well, I guess you got to count the sessions and not counting the LPs. I don't know the exact number of the FTD CDs that are out there. I really don't know. I've always wondered that. If I was to guess, I'd say 100 and maybe 70, 175. So if any of you know that, Carrie, how are you doing, Carrie? By the way, he says not counting FTDs. See, this is what I do like about because I'm actually on, as you know, I'm on because I was going to do the allow you all to come on if you wanted to, as far as being on the screen with me. And again, no worries, no obligations. If you're shy, don't want to come on, but I completely understand that. I don't know if I would want to do it either, but that's just me. So I just thought I'd try this as a once go round and see how it goes. But Michael says I would, but I'm not getting my hair cut. I'm getting my hair cut at noon. So no, I get it, buddy. Got to look your best. So Carrie, to answer your question, he says not counting FTDs. What do you think RCA, Sony, and Legacy have planned for Elvis releases? I don't know, Carrie. That's a great question because, you had the Elvis and I can't remember the name of it. I don't have it down here with me. The albums and the box sets that came out in the last couple of years. The one from Elvis in Nashville, I think, and then Elvis back in Nashville, which the second one wasn't as good as the first one. I didn't think. I liked the first release a little bit better. You got the Aloha that's been released multiple times. Hey, Will, how you doing? Robert from England. I'm doing good. I hope you are doing well, also, sir. Um, but yeah, Carrie, that's a great question. I wouldn't even be able to think what is. Um, you know what, Michael? I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know what I did, and I apologize. Hello, Sandra, uh, because I think I know what I did. I think I set the link for for tomorrow, but I advertised it as being today, and I want to go back and check. I almost bet you that's what I did. And the only reason I think what messed me up, and I am very sorry to all of you um, that this affected, um, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what I did because I know I was going to do it Monday. And then I was talking to one of my best friends, a gentleman that I went to high school with. I've known him for almost 40 years. He's really into broadcast. He's been in radio. He has his own podcast. And he said to me, he goes, when should I do it? And I was going to do it Tuesday. I said, I think I want to do it Tuesday. And I don't know I don't know what I was thinking. And then he said, no, do it Monday. Do it as soon as possible. Get the advertisement out there. And that's what I did. And I checked the post on YouTube, and it did say Monday. But this morning he sent me a message when I was dropping my wife off at work, and it said, "Good luck and best wishes on your podcast today." I'm thinking, today? No, it's tomorrow. So I checked it. I was at a red light, and I never text while I'm driving, but I was at a red light, and that could explain why I'm not getting guests. But I was at a red light, and I went in, I checked it, And sure enough, it did say Monday, but I don't know if I put January. I don't know, man. I'm so sorry to all of you. So if I did that, I'm very, very sorry. Robert says, reference to FTD. I was lucky to collect them all so far. I've got 200. That's including books. I think FTD will release either sessions or concerts, but how much have they got left? I will tell you some things I would like to see, and you all can join in. We may not have, we may not have where I can see you, but we can make this interactive, intuitive, and fun, and all that. So I'll start since I'm the one that you can see. I'll tell you what I would like to see, which I'm frankly shocked, and I've mentioned this on my last live stream. I'm shocked that they have not released. I am absolutely blown away that FTD has not released. Yeah, Will, it does say Monday. Like I said, though, Will, I don't know if I skip, but see, you all got in. That's the thing that's weird. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I did do it right. I'm just my days are mixed up. I don't know. But thanks for confirming that, Will. I appreciate that. What was I saying? Oh, as far as what I would like to see FTD release, I'm blown away. And I've had other people agree with me on this one. I don't understand why they have not released Fun in Acapulco on a 2 LP set. Can any of you explain that to me? Because I would like to talk to them and say, look, it is one of his best movies. It's one of his greatest soundtracks, in my humble opinion. It was still in those early years where his movies were really doing spectacular in the theaters, at the box office. The soundtracks were selling tremendously. They were outselling his last, of course, Potluck in '62 was his last studio album. They had what is considered the Lost album, or Memphis, Tennessee. He recorded that. RCA scrapped it and used those songs as bonus songs on the soundtracks for that reason. Well, that and because Colonel Parker and RCA felt that there was too much Elvis product on the market in '63, so they scrapped it. Stupid, in my opinion, because I think the album would have done well, but that's just me. But I don't understand. Gotta love the pop-ups. I don't understand why that has not been released yet. You have Tickle Me. Are you kidding me? Easy Come, Easy Go. Kid Galahad, which was an EP. You have Volume 1 and 2 of Jailhouse Rock, Volume 1 and Cafe Europa, Volume 2 of GI Blues. So that's the first thing. I don't understand. They have the sessions of Fun in Acapulco. You have the 2 CD set that came out not long after the FTD started, but you have no LP. How beautiful would that set be? How gorgeous would that cover be? I could only imagine. Now, I am hearing have agreed a Fun in Acapulco would have been great on vinyl. One of my favorite soundtrack albums. Robert, yes. It is and I know some people are kind of indifferent on the soundtracks. With the exception of a couple of them, I love them all. And even on the ones that I'm like, on Frankie and Johnny, Harem Scarum, there's still some highlight songs that are really fun on those records. So I don't get it. That is it is unbeknownst to me. I don't know why. I don't understand why they have not released these. It's a great sounding soundtrack, and all tracks suited the Mexican feel. Plus, the boy was on in fine voice. He was. Love Me Tonight was a great bonus track on that album. The whole album was good. I mean, There's No Room to Rumba. That's one of those throwaway songs, I guess you could say, that was not that great. I kind of tie that in with Old MacDonald from Double Trouble. But I mean, the whole album it's just a fun, it's got that, that authentic Mexican flavor. I don't know. I just love it. I always have liked it. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always liked it. And I just think it would be a spectacular release. And FTD has been knocking it out of the park with their last few releases. They need to finish the classic LPs on FTD LP, then finish the soundtrack. That's my 2 cents. That's coming from Ed from King's Court. How you doing, Ed? Yeah, I mean, there's several albums that I'm also surprised that was with as much as they have as far as the recording sessions for Blue Hawaii. His most popular movie during his lifetime, it was one of his most successful selling records. You have 2 volumes of all these others. Why is there not a second volume of Blue Hawaii? As Ed mentioned, some of the classic. I think I want to like it. Here's a guilty pleasure. You love it. Well, me too, buddy. But lost my train of thought just that quick. Don't get older, guys. It sucks. Get ideas out of my head just like that. But yes, as Ed was saying, there's still some LPs that could be released. You could release an FTD of which I think would be good for for LP fans only. You could do an FTD of his first two albums, Elvis Presley and Elvis. Those have not been released. I'm trying to think what else. So you have Potluck, Something for Everyone. Um, Elvis is Back. You have the sessions for that on both LP sessions and CD. Um, you have a lot of the '70s. I think have been released now. Love letters, yeah. So there's definitely a few, as Ed mentioned. There's definitely some that um, have not been highlighted. Um, yeah, Ed, Elvis's Christmas album. Yeah, he actually, Ed actually, him and I were talking back. He's pining for having fun with Elvis on stage, Volume One and Two. But joking. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much out there. Elvis sings the Wonderful World of Christmas. Agreed, buddy. I that's an album that I was a late bloomer to. I heard it, but I've really come to appreciate it the last few Christmases. I think it's a well-made record. I think Elvis is in fine form. But uh, yeah, there's a lot of material. I mean, I know I did my video a few days ago on what's left in the vaults, and I do think it's starting to get a little bit slimmer pickings, so to speak. But I still think there's a plethora. There's a lot more that they could release. Anthony, how you doing? I think there's some sessions material like Stax, Jungle Room, RCA Hollywood 75. Imagine huge deluxe box sets of this. I agree. Rick, Top 40 Hub, they should somehow do a Camden FTD release. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Much like the soundtracks, some people love the Camdens. Some people do not like the Camdens. Some people are in the middle. They like some of them, the other half they don't. Um, I personally, with the exception of one album, I enjoy all the Camdens because they make me think of my youth. A lot of those albums are budget albums. I got them as a kid. My very first 12-inch album I ever got, I was 5 years old. My mom got me Burning Love and Hits from His Movies. It was not the first press with the starburst and bonus photo. It was the one letter or one later. Bottom of the Barrel or Plethora of Riches in the FTD vaults. We may never know. Yeah, you're right, Ed. Um, I'm kind of thinking there's more. Gotta shift here as you get older, man. You can't sorry I'm up so high, guys, but my tripod sucks. If I put it down and I adjust it, it keeps moving down ever so slowly. But if I lock it as high up as it is, I'm sorry, you're only seeing from me up, but you know, and it's funny, Ginger was up here playing and jumping on me, and the second I brought this tripod out or this out, man, she took off. I don't know why she's scared of it. She's still she's a little over a year old, but yeah, she is terrified of it. And it's just a black tripod. It's small. It's not that big. It's got the light on it and all that. But yeah, she has her little kennel in her little room downstairs, and that's where she went. That's where she goes to kind of chill and relax. Elvis Cup guy, TCB to you too as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate you joining. There are nice bootlegs out there for the Camdens, Rick. Many childhood memories of these. I'm sorry. And I will tell you, man. So to me, there's a few categories. You got your soundtracks. You have your soundtracks. You have your Camdens. Here's the thing about Camdens. UK released a ton of Camdens. And I have several of them, but it's on the blue, like the blue RC label, but they removed the RCA because it's under copyright, but it just says Camden on the side. It's wrote in block letters, and there's a ton of them. I have a lot of them, and they're really, really nice. Now, all they are like compilations from the RCA US released Camden albums, but they're very nice. They're very well made, flimsy covers, as most of them are, but they sound nice. They're just nice collections, and you can get them relatively cheap. I use either Discogs or, in most cases, eBay, and I've got several of them. All right, Ed. Thank you so much, buddy. You have a good one too. Thanks for joining in for as long as you did. I appreciate it. But there's also those that are big on. And I may hear if I could hear you, I'd probably hear a collective gasp. A lot of people love the the bootlegs. I'm not a big fan of bootlegs. I don't have anything against them. I know there's a ton of people that, um, you know, enjoy them. But my thinking is over the years, many of these bootlegs that a lot of people have spent a lot of crap load of money getting came out later on FTD. FTD cleaned them up, mastered them, did whatever they had to do when they produced them, and they sound a little bit better. So I do own a few bootlegs. I did a video for the Greensboro show that Elvis did in April, was it April 18th? Somebody can correct me, but in April of 1972. Sounds really good. It's a nice collection, gatefold, blue cover. It's on red or blue vinyl. I got the red vinyl because they were sold out of blue. It comes with a CD. I got a couple other that are still sealed that are, yeah, yep, absolutely. Anthony says, I still think there may be some 72 Live Vegas RCA recorded stuff. Again, another full blown huge box set would be awesome. I agree. FTD's even done that. FTD's released a few of the August 72 shows. You have What Now My Love? Do you consider labels like ours? You know what, Carrie? I don't. And that's just my opinion. Carrie asked, do you consider labels like MRS, Memphis Recording Service, and VPI as bootlegs? I will say, you know, they are off a public domain because anything out of the United States is public domain. Anybody can get it. Whatever equipment they have to mix it, they can release it. If they have the ability to release it on CD, burn it, make a label. And that's how you see a lot of these labels that are out there that are releasing this. That's how they do it. And it's totally, you know, it's legal. You know, you can do it. Sandra says some unheard tapes and photo negatives are turning into dust after all these years. Yes, Sandra. But that's the thing. And that's why I do like, when I did my FTD video a few days ago, there was a lot of criticism, not towards me, but towards the label itself. And I'm a kind of I see both ends, both sides of the story kind of guy. Like I don't necessarily take, hey, Curtis, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining in. I don't take the high road or this road. Like I don't say, you know what, if you guys don't like FTD and you think then don't buy it. That's not me. I'm also not one that will say, well, they're too expensive, because I see both sides. I do. I understand.
A temporary issue has occurred while connecting to the server. Please try again later. 300.
My new OLED is haunted. It just pops up like that every once. We'll be sitting on the sofa and we'll all be reading or on our phones, and out of the blue, because it's hooked up to Alexa. I can't say that very loud because my one here in the kitchen will pop on. But yeah, I completely understand the FTD argument, because, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you both ends of what my thoughts on it are. So for those who commented and said, you know what, man, it's been a cash grab, it's been a money grab, I completely understand that, and I, to a pretty large degree, agree to that. I was not going to get the Aloha 3 CD set, and somebody referenced this simply because it's been released by Legacy. It's been released on vinyl. You got the original pressings. You got the later pressings. You get the Japanese pressings. You can only have it in so many forms. Two things got me to buy it, and I just received it a couple weeks ago. Another great box set for me, or a boxcar. Yes, I agree. Curtis says, I love FTDs. I do too. Anyway, yeah, so we're saying how the what constitutes somebody buying them and what not. So I'll give you a perfect example. So I had several people tell me, hey, I bought something for everybody. I bought, or something for everyone. I always get this confused. I bought, Potluck. I bought His Hand in Mine. I got the 2 CD sets. I paid for it, and then they released them all in sessions. I agree. Like, you spend that money, or you get people who have bought the sessions and didn't get the original 2 CD sets. And they're like, well, I ain't going to go back and buy the 2 CD sets. It's a waste of money. But you have the ire. You've drawn the ire of those who have gone back from the beginning, bought them, And then they released them all in sessions, or most of them on sessions. So it's like a duplication. Again, going back to the Aloha, and I lost my train of thought there again. The Aloha set. What made me get it is I'm going to try to collect the entire FTD CD set. It's going to take me a little time, but I'm on a good pace. But the third disc had mostly unreleased alternate takes of the where there was no audience, and he did like early morning rain, no more, Hawaiian when he did all when he did those songs. It's all the different takes. So I found that interesting. Plus, they said it was the best sounding remastered um, release of the January 14th show. I have a France Aloha CD from the 80s. It was the first Aloha CD I had seen in the stores. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Aloha probably as much as the 68 special has been re-released, reboxed, repackaged so many different ways. It's like a gluttony of material. And like I said, again, I see both sides. It came out through different years, different versions, different sets. You had the complete 68 box set that came out. I think it was 4 CDs that came out 10 years ago. And then Sony Legacy came out with another that had like the best of, like the highlight moments. Yeah, Chris, it is. I just got my set finally after a year. But yeah, it's a good set. Anthony says Aloha FTD was remixed, so that's a good selling point. The remix, because it was done by one of the best in the industry. I can never remember the gentleman's name. Maybe one of you can post it. That and the fact that it had the third disc was all stuff you had never heard before, as far as those songs that he did that were non-live. Sony's strategy for Elvis has always been poorly handled. FTD has been a godsend. I lived through the 80s when outtakes were rare. They were not perfect, but so delightful. They came along. Hey, Paul, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you here. My thing is, here's the thing, and I think all of you are going to agree with this. No matter what any of the RCA, BMG, FTD, no matter what they do, you're going to have your detractors. You're going to have people that are going to, not want to get it, which I understand. People are forking out the money. It's their right, their prerogative to buy them. My argument for getting them, which is my next point, is not so much the soundboards. I've been pleasantly surprised with how good these soundboards sound. The majority of them are good. There's a couple that are horrendous by FTD. And it'll say in the description, it's got pops, and you hear the people in the audience. It was an audience recording, but for historical significance, yeah, you're forking out $30 for historical significance. It's not pocket change, and that's when it came out originally 10, 15, 20 years ago. Now, if you want them, they're 40, 50, $60. So again, I see that argument. But Elvis on tour, yeah, it is going to be great, Curtis. I cannot wait. But what's really cool, what I love about the studio albums and the soundtracks is you hear all the Elvis talking with his bandmates, Elvis talking to the producer. You hear the producer hit, you can actually hear him hitting the button for the intercom to talk back and forth with Elvis and DJ Fontana and all it's just the coolest thing. You hear him do the count, you hear him tapping his foot, you can hear Elvis leaning forward and the chair squeaking that he's sitting in. It's just, you would not get that anywhere else. Isn't it amazing how we're talking about new Elvis releases all these years after he passed? It is. It's absolutely astonishing to me. And so I will tell you, although I do see both sides, I'm more on the side of, as an Elvis fan, that I'm so glad that FT has released a lot of this. Hey, Joseph, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining in. I did, by the way, Curtis, and of course Ed left, and then you, Joseph. I did go back this morning early and watch the stream that the three of you did. Sorry I could not join. I actually I help with cameras. We got some new 4K cameras at my church, but I am in the back on the I guess you can say the internet and TV side of it. So controlling all what people at home see. So I've been doing that for almost a year now. I've been running the camera for about 2 years, but I've been more on the technical side. They asked me to take part in that, and that's where I was, so I couldn't. But yeah, a lot of it, like I'll show you for an example. Let me just find it before I make a liar out of myself. Bear with me. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. This is a fantastic. I hate that. This is a fantastic release. This is through Analog Productions. They released a few of these. Number one, they sound absolutely wonderful. They sound amazing. I'm on. Oh, hold on. A lot of a lot of comments came in at once. Paul says, I'm on the fence about getting the Aloha FTD CD. We all have so many copies. I agree. But a guy on eBay has sent me an offer for 42 for a sealed copy. Decisions. Paul, this is what I would tell you. So if that's in, I think that's in pounds. If it's in pounds, it's going to come to about 48, 49 bucks US dollars. Unless you are, I don't know, Paul, if you're in the UK. If you're in the UK, it's even up. But then it depends on what shipping is. Shipping from the UK to the US is expensive. I will tell you that. So it just depends on, I don't know if you're in Europe or if you're in UK. If you are, I would say I would jump on it because that's a great deal. It's not even a bad deal if you're in the US. Curtis, that's where there's going to be more live streams. Cool. Elvis releases turned a corner when they released the 50s box set in 92. Since then, we have been well served. There's a glare. Sorry. I've had the on tour set since December. You are in for a treat if you've not heard it yet. I have heard it because I can stream it and it sounds wonderful. Saw a movie theater was yesterday. That's the way it was. Showed it on his birthday. Felt like he was still alive. Yeah, I would love to see that, Sandra. I hope they release it on a 4K disc. One FTD that did disappoint sound-wise was Minnesota Moment. Flat no tone. A bootleg came out of the same show. Yeah. So, Paul, you are in the UK. Dude, I would do it in a heartbeat. That is a great deal. The set, I've seen it in pounds on different websites at 60, 55 to 60. Yeah, I would jump on it. But anyway, I was talking about this record. This is released to a company, as I mentioned, called Analog Productions. It's on 200-gram vinyl. Like you could freaking wing this at somebody and take them out. But gatefold, great set, and it just sounds amazing. Yeah, if anybody has this, you can join in and back me up on this. Talk about something that sounds. Look, you hear people say, "Oh, it sounds like you're right in the studio with Elvis." I kid you not, it does. It's that clean and clear. And if you read this story, it's on the back. Back in the mid to late 50s, a lot of the tapes that were stored initially, they disposed of them, and they ended that practice. Well, these were labeled. Let me see if I can. The discovery of these 2-track masters comprising this album, nothing short of a miracle. Let me see if I can read it. Yeah, it says these 2 tracks, they were found years later from January 1957. They had a race clearly written on the master log sheet. So they were intended to be destroyed. And I tell you what, man, like nothing that has ever been released has ever sounded better. I have that one. I highly recommend this one. These are on 45 RPMs. Awesome release. And then this one is actually starting to get very difficult to buy. I know Analog Productions website, they've been sold out of for a little while. And that's this. I haven't even opened my copy yet, but I've heard. I had it at one time and I had it on CD. Elvis 24 karat hits. This is actually 3 LPs, all on 45 speed. And yeah, like I said, if you want to talk about something that's top notch, listen to them. Yeah, Joseph. It came out in '88, and that was a great release. And then they re-released it. Thanks, Will. Yeah, it's nice. I'm telling you, if I'd even say, like I said, I had the CD release of the 24 karat hits years ago, and that's on like especially like one of these days I'm going to do. Hopefully in the next month, I'm going to do a listening party live. I'm going to play some songs from that, and it'll blow you away. I've researched it. Made disc 2 not been remixed, but like Mark, I'm interested in disc 3. Looks like a spectacular set. Yeah, and it is. It's a nice big, it's got a little hype sticker on it. It's got the booklet. I don't know, man. If they were asking like $90, $100 for it, well, see, that's the thing. I'm trying to collect and get the entire FTD CD set. So, yeah, Robert. Robert says that Stereo 57 album is fantastic, so clean. Clean is almost an understatement. Like it just sounds so pristine. Like it just, you hear Elvis talking, and I read comments when I asked before I bought it. I was reading reviews of it at the website that I bought it on, and somebody was like, I don't want to hear Elvis and all them talking. Like, get to the music, man. That's all I care about. This set sucked. I'm like, are you out of your freaking gourd? Like that's what's great about the FTDs. You hear that side of it that before 1999 and earlier, you never got to hear those things. You never got to hear, and these songs evolved over time. That's what's so cool about these because it might be faster and you can actually hear Elvis. Elvis may not have had a lot of creative control early on or what was released. Carrie, I want to answer that question in just 1 second. That's a great question, and I'll tell you why it's a great question. So I'm going to hopefully remember. Carrie's going to be asking me about if Prince from Another Planet is worth getting, and I'll give you my thought on that in just a second. But that's the beauty of the FTDs. You hear the creative control that Elvis had in the studio. He would hear a song. If he felt it needed to be more up tempo, he would say, you need to go up tempo on it. It was awesome. Yeah, Carrie David, I will tell you this. If you can get it for a reasonable price, I would definitely say it's worth getting. You have the afternoon show, which anybody who follows my channel, that is my favorite live performance ever. The June 10th, 1972 afternoon 2:30 p.m. show at the Garden. That is my favorite show. Elvis was in great form. He was in a great mood. He sounded fantastic. It was of the 4 concerts he did, you can look it up. It was the longest. It was the only show, I believe, out of the 4 that ran over an hour. And that's why they ended up going with the evening show because it was already about 56, 57 minutes regular speed. But as many of you know, the Colonel decided to speed it up to fit it on one album. And it ends up being like 54 minutes maybe. Just reading these notes. Sorry, guys. So Carrie, I would say if you can get it for a decent price, and I know you're like me, you are always looking for the best price. I do that every time I buy something. I look for the best price. I look at the seller. I see how they're rated. I see, the comments. But I will tell you that, like I said, it's all remastered. Of course, they always remaster it, but it's all remastered, remixed. It sounds phenomenal. What's cool about the evening show that they released on the original release, at the end, you hear Al Dvorin say, Elvis has left the building. Thank you and good night. On this new, well, I can't say new, came out in 2013, I believe. They actually recorded more of it, but of course, Parker was trying to, cut it down. Yeah, Anthony, I agree, buddy. It does. Will, it's funny you asked that. The Wonder of You, FTD, that is very close. So if Afternoon in the Garden is my favorite, here's The Wonder of You. Of all the August 1970 concerts, I think that was his strongest. His song selection was fantastic. He was in awesome voice. He was in a great mood. Actually, I just listened to that or no, who was it that said, yeah. Wonder of You. Robert, I'm sorry. I have always comments coming up. Wonder of You is probably, of all the FTD releases, it might even be top 3 for me of all the 170 or whatever it's out there. It's on a 5-inch. It's small, no gatefold. It's a single disc. Other than a false start that he does for Sweet Caroline, and it's funny, but he's just because it was still early on him returning to stage. He was just in a league by himself. Like I said, it was recorded by RCA professionally. It's just such a well done show. It is on the 11 CD box set that came out a few years ago, but I love that FTD. And it's the one where he's wearing the white suit with the red red. They call it the ladder jumpsuit because every jumpsuit has a name, but it has like a V neck. And it's got these red. Let's say a ladder. That's why they call it the ladder jumpsuit. It's got the red tassel. He makes comment about when he's doing Hound Dog about how the red tassel. You want to get a matching snake, I think he says. But it's a fantastic show. Um, Joseph, you know what, man? I was just asking somebody. What's today? Monday. On Saturday afternoon, I was talking to a buddy of mine who has several of them. Uh, you all can see this is what I love about the interactive. We can all talk about this with each other. Um, I've heard good things and bad things, mostly good though, about Wax Time. A lot of people say, "Oh, they sound really good. They are from a public domain, but they're pretty good, quality releases." My thing is, if I have the originals or I have the FTDs or I have whatever I need, I don't know, man. I go back and forth. I do. I'm being honest. I go back and forth. I thought about getting the Blue Hawaii version. That one's starting to become scarcer and harder to find. I know they I got to shift again. Sorry. I know they re-released GI Blues with like an alternate cover. So I don't know, man. I'm very much on the fence about it. Um, and then getting back to Carrie's question, one last thing about that Prince from Another Planet. If you're still here, Carrie. Anyway, I was saying on the evening show, after Al Dvorin says Elvis left the building, they had cut this out. He goes on to say, Elvis merchant. I don't know what the exact word he talks about. Elvis, movies, posters, buttons, programs are available in the Madison Square Garden concourse or from your local vendors. We appreciate, like, he just goes on and on, like, you never heard that. And then it fades out. And then the third disc, what they did was, if you don't know this, is somebody had recorded the afternoon show. And again, not only is that my favorite concert, that jumpsuit is my favorite jumpsuit all the time. The blue with the gold accents, the blue cape with the yellow lining inside. Man, he had that V-nape. He still had that V shape. Ginger, come here, baby. She's scared of this tripod. She went back downstairs. She came up for a second, went back downstairs. She's a sweet girl, but for some, she's skittish about certain things. She's not skittish like this all the time. She does not like this tripod. But what they did was, and it's really, really cool, is they recorded it. And it's not horrible. It's a little grainy, but if I was to guess, it was recorded from somebody on, like, say, the second or third row at the Garden. And it's not all recorded. And it was silent, of course, because it was just like a handheld, camera. It was not 1972. But what's cool is RCA synced the recording of the afternoon show to that video perfectly. So it gives you the effect of a real concert. Now, the only bummer about it is that there are segments that it blacks out. Like, they don't have anything recorded. So what they did was, when they made the 3 CD set, is you have that space, it's black, you can hear him singing, and then it'll come on, and then you'll see, like, him doing, like, I think it starts out, you see him coming out, he does That's All Right. I think you got most of Proud Mary. And then I think by the third song, it like cuts out, and then it's like black for a couple songs that comes back. So it's very inconsistent, I guess is probably the best word. So Carrie, if you, again, I'll say this, I know I've told you twice already, but it bears worth repeating. If you can get it for a decent price, get it. It's a 7 or 8 inch set, fold out, nice booklet inside, tons of pictures inside. That in itself makes it valuable. Carrie says, I just can't believe that RC didn't film the concert. It blows me away too. I just had this conversation with somebody, I think on Saturday as well. And I said, what was the Colonel thinking? Now nobody probably knew at that time that Elvis would never come back to the Garden. He just did those 4 shows. The one time, that was it. He played in New York before. He played at Nassau Coliseum. He played at, I think another place in New York. But yeah. It's just one of those things where, what was he thinking? Like, you're talking about the most famous venue in all of America as far as, performing, boxing matches. You figure, a lot of the greats back in my dad actually went to the Garden when I think he told me, my dad's 90, bless his heart, but he went there as a kid. He saw, what boxer? I was going to say Sugar Ray, but not Sugar Ray. one of the most famous boxers of the 30s and 40s. I cannot remember his name now, but my dad saw him and he knocked whoever he was fighting out. He was immensely popular. My dad went there when he was a little kid. Paul says, a lot of colored vinyl, not too expensive either. Yeah, Paul, that's the thing. That's why I've thought about getting the wax time because, they are pretty cheap. They are pretty inexpensive. Robert Lee says, what was your, I think this is for everybody. He says, my friends, what was your opinion of Elvis in Nashville and back in Nashville? I liked Elvis in Nashville quite a bit better than back in Nashville. Just because of the recording session himself. And Elvis was just in a better frame of mind. When he was recording back in Nashville, well, the sessions for that album, I should say, not the name of the album, obviously. He had just gone to the doctor. He had, he struggled with glaucoma later in his life, but he had an infection in his eye. He had just come from the doctor, then went to the studio. And then I think this is on Scotty's channel. He gave this video a while back that apparently they had the time booked at the studio. He left, didn't come back for a while. So, new comments on. Okay. Sugar Ray. Joe Lewis. Thank you, Michael. It was Joe Lewis. My dad saw Joe Lewis box. See, my dad was born in 32. So this was probably, I think my dad said it was like 1940 or 1941. He was just a kid. And he went with his dad and one of his dad's friends, my grandfather and one of his friends. And he remembers it well. He was a kid, but he was a boy. But he said it was a really cool experience. And yeah, Slim. It was Joe Lewis. I could not think of his name to say. I want to say Sugar Ray, and I'm like, no, it's not Sugar Ray Robinson. But it was along that era. Yeah. So that's. I hear that Elvis wasn't too happy with the garden. Curtis, I don't know. I know before the June 9th evening show, he was. The story goes that Jackie Kahane, who was a comedian that did a lot of the pre-show stuff, and that I think that's the thing was the build-up because the Sweet Inspirations would usually come out and do a performance, which they did in those New York shows. Jackie Kahane probably did a 20 or 30-minute stand-up, and he was booed heavily. He was booed badly, and Elvis heard that and he didn't very much appreciate it. And he actually said, if they're going to treat him that way, I don't even want to go on. But it was also because he was very nervous. He didn't know how New York would take him, which to me is silly because he's Elvis. But he did go out. Tracy, yes, you can, and nowadays you can find anything on YouTube. But yeah, if you look it up on YouTube, you can see the whole performance. But it's just cool. I'm all about physical media. I like to have the actual disc, the album. I stream a lot. I do. When I go downstairs in my gym and I exercise, I usually have something streaming. We have I won't say it because it'll speak up our little thing that plays music when you give it a command. Okay, Michael, thank you so much. Thank you for joining in, buddy. But when I exercise, when I'm up here, we have one in the kitchen. We have one in our bedroom, and then our girls, we got each of our girls one. So we have a total of 5 of them in our house. Nancy says, I think our city missed a lot of Elvis. What a shame. Yeah. I think there's a lot to still come out though. I do. Slim Coogan says, what is your opinion of the concert at the Boston Garden? I think November 71. Yes, it was November. I want to say November 9th or 10th of 71, where he wore the black suit, thus the title of the last release. I had this conversation, no joke. I've had this conversation with at least 3 different people in the last 3 weeks. So it's ironic that you're asking this because a buddy of mine had asked me if I was going to get the new MRS release. And I said that at the time I was going to buy it on clear vinyl, or he's got the cape out. I didn't have it on CD. I thought about just getting the CD version because it was so much cheaper. But again, since I'm collecting the FTDs, FTD came out with it, I want to say in 2015 or 16. So I'm just going to hold out and get that one. Another friend who I had this discussion has the FTD. They said it sounds spectacular. What MRS did though is they kind of added a like a stereo. I don't say stereophonic because that's not what the actual term is. I know what it is. They added a stereo mix to it to give it more body. So you know what? I'm definitely getting the FTD probably within the next week. I'm going to order it, but I probably will buy the vinyl version of I can't remember what it's called, a Black Tornado or whatever it's called. But MRS does such a good job with the releases, so I will probably have both. Love, but you want to have enough of 71. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of 1971 shows, and I don't know why that is. And Robert, you're one of many that has said that. I have always wondered why they have not, uh, made more shows or recorded more shows. And I don't know if they have them, but they're in poor quality. But that's never stopped them before from releasing them. I mean, if there's anything with Elvis's voice on it, I don't know. I actually have a few. Let's see. I have this one. This one's a really nice release. This is Elvis Summer Festival, the rehearsals. And it's got, I think it's 3 albums, but it's all the rehearsals. I think it's just about all the rehearsals. July 15th of 1970, MGM Soundstage 1 in Culver City. And then you have RCA Studios. So yeah, it comes with a pretty cool, really nice gatefold. I can never get this right. Really nice gatefold. It's 3 albums. I think I just got mine on black vinyl. There's the label. And it copies the shirt that Elvis was wearing, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, it's black. You can get it on clear, but Tracy, oh, you are in for such a treat. As I was saying, the FTDs, they kind of started out, the vinyls. They kind of started out weak, as expensive and crazy, nutty expensive as they are. Yeah, Paul, it's a gorgeous set. Sounds good too. You're going to be pleased. It happened at the World's Fair. It is one of my favorite soundtracks. I think it's just it's a fun movie. It's a fun album. It sounds really good. It was still Elvis high at his peak. But yeah, in fact, while we're talking about it, I ran out of sleeves, so I've got to get some protective bags. But there it is, man. I think that's one of the best covers of any FTD, and then it's got the back. So in fact, I said this in my last video. I'm actually going to order one and just keep it. I like it so much. I'm going to order another one and just pack it away, just so I have it. Curtis said, let's see, Mark, if you ever run out of space, I'm happy to look. You'll be the first I think of, Will. Joseph said, sorry guys, I'm trying to read all these. I don't want you to ever think that I'm ignoring you, because I'm not. The comments just move so quick. I love the cover of that album release of FT. I do too, Joseph. I hope I'm not masquerading your name. I try to always call people by their proper names. I'm sure I've completely destroyed your name, and I apologize for that. Yeah, I love the cover. I love the yellow. I love the back of it. It's just the last probably 7 or 8 FTDs that they've released. They have totally hit it out of the park. They're not as quiet as they were. Curtis says the CD version has a lot more songs. Yeah, it does. And that's the beauty. A lot of people have said, I can't afford the FTDs now. And I get that. I mean, Standing Room Only, I saw it listed about a month and a half ago on Discogs, and they wanted well over 1,000 for it. It's just somebody on eBay right now, unless it's sold, but if you go on eBay right now, somebody has Good Times, the Sessions, or I think it's called the Sessions. I can't remember, but it's the Good Times FTD album, the double set. And I think they're asking $849 for it, and then like 15 to ship it. Like, no, we can't afford that. I can't. But yeah, I just think they've done so well with these releases lately. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get a backup copy at World's Fair. I might, and this is, yeah, This is probably my favorite FTD cover of all time. I just think, unless you saw it, I just think this one is just spectacular, and it sounds amazing. Look at that, man. That is just gorgeous. I actually did buy a second copy of that, and a friend of mine, I had opened the one was that was my playing copy. That was my one I was packing away. So I gotta eventually open that one and use it unless I get another one. But uh, I a friend of mine was wanting it, and their birthday came around. I said, you know what? I have an open copy. I've only played it once or twice. I'll send it to you, and that's what I did. So I had a backup copy. Comments. So looking forward to our next release. Joseph, have you heard what I heard? I rumor heavy rumors that a new LP announcement is coming soon. I just don't know what it is. I'm hoping it's fun in Acapulco. Jonas, it's fine, buddy. Um, I understand, man. I get busy too. I have young girls, and I'm also a granddad. I have two adult daughters. I have two granddaughters. So between that, school, I start my new job 2 weeks from today. It's just been busy. Even being off this time, I've had more time to make these videos, but it seems like the day just gets away from me. Carrie says, Mark, what FTD is your favorite? Um, as far as my favorite FTD album, I would probably have to say Elvis Sings Memphis, Tennessee is my favorite. That one just is near and dear to my heart. I love the cover. I love the songs on it. Um, international International Live. Marco, are you talking about the one where it's the picture from the '68 special where he's got the microphone, he's got the guitar? I'm just curious. Marco says, I don't know why, but the International Hotel Live album is my favorite Elvis cover. Yeah, there's a lot of great Elvis covers. Now, so that's probably my favorite FTD vinyl, Carrie. Um, my favorite FTD CD, that's a tough one. I probably got to think about that one. I don't know exactly which one that one is. The wide release, yeah, that's another album that they could do an FTD LP release on. Marco, they could do one on that. Um, yeah, so of course they've done the recorded live on stage. Waiting for the Elvis on tour Sony Legacy, and though I have pre-ordered the box set, which now officially should be. Yeah, that's what they're saying, January 27th. But I will say, Joseph, that and again, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly. I got to listen to your stream. Sometimes I miss certain things. So um, the stream that you have with Curtis and Ed, I got to listen closely for how you correctly pronounce your name. I'm not real good at that. Yeah, but you can stream it. I have Apple Music, and then through my family plan, I have the Amazon Music. So it was available to stream, I think, almost a month ago, and I did end up listening to it. It's got two unreleased recordings, and then it's got the San Antonio concert, which was on the Elvis Close Up 4 CD set. But they say they remixed it, which they always say that it's a selling point. But that concert's on there as well. And then of course, all as far as I know, it's all the rehearsals on two or three. Was it? I'm trying to remember. Is it a 5 disc release? I think it is. And you know what, Joseph? I am probably going to get the Sony Legacy 2 LP set because I think in fact, not think I know it's highlights from those shows. So it would sound pretty cool on vinyl. So it'd be really cool if they're releasing that box set for on tour on vinyl. Tracy, yes, it is a 4K Blu-ray. Or no, not 4K. It's just regular Blu-ray. It's not 4K. It's Blu-ray. I'm sorry. I saw Marco's response. I saw your response. You had asked, "Is the Elvis?" I'm a little dyslexic. I'm sorry. Is the Elvis on tour box set a 4K Blu-ray included? It does have the movie. but it's Blu-ray. Now I have the Elvis on Tour Blu-ray that came out a few years ago, and it looks pretty good. I will tell you, I like That's the Way It Is better. It was filmed in a better grain. It just looks better. Where to me, a lot of the shots, they cleaned it up some. I'm sure they cleaned it up for this release. Looks a little cloudy to me. It's the Blu-ray. It was already, yeah, it is. It's the Blu-ray. Um, but I tell you what else is kind of, and I tried to be nitpicky about these releases, but I'm surprised they didn't put a lot of the deleted scenes and things like that. Maybe it's part of the um special features. I'm hoping. Tracy, I will tell you, I have always been a little hard on that release, meaning that I don't know if it was the way it was if it was shot, if it was shot on, you know, because a lot of Hollywood movies then were shot on 35 millimeter. I don't know if that one was shot on a less quality. I don't know why. It just doesn't have the grain. It just doesn't look as sharp as what I think it could look like. The behind the scenes stuff is clear. If you see him behind the scenes, and there's the scene where he's got the red jumpsuit on, and somebody in his entourage is like fixing the cape and his collar. He's got a cigarette in his hand. Like those are clear. But for some reason, when he gets on stage, to me, it looks just, I don't know. It just doesn't look. Yeah, Marco, exactly. Control that was shot on super. There you go. Marco is full of information. He says that's the way it was shot on 35 millimeter. Anybody who watches movies or owns movies or whatever, 35 millimeter is the way to go. And now that they're transferring them and upscaling them to 4K, they look absolutely freaking phenomenal. Hold on, these comments. So yeah, it was shot on 16 millimeter. I'm pretty sure. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that, buddy. Really do. But yeah, like I said, it looks fine. It doesn't look bad. I'm not saying it looks bad. I mean, I just think for a movie that was theatrically released and it's been cleaned up and been released on Blu-ray, I'm hoping that they further enhanced the Blu-ray and cleaned it up a little bit for this new release on the 27th. I don't know, but I don't know if there's any special features stuff that was on the cutting room. I don't know. All right, buddy. Take care. Thanks for joining in. I really do appreciate it. Sorry, guys, my stupid pop-ups. But yeah, I'm actually hoping they release a more of his movies on 4K. I am hoping that some of his older movies. I would love to see King Creole get a 4K release. I would love to see it happen at the World's Fair get released on 4K. GI Blues, as you know, Blue Hawaii came out on 4K. And to say it looks spectacular is an understatement, because I actually thought that I had the DVD. It was never released here in the United States on Blu-ray. When they released it in November, was it November 15th? I think it was released. It had a Blu-ray and the 4K. And the 4K, because it is in Hawaii, it was shot in Panavision. It just looks stunning, is the only word I can think of. Yeah, Marco, I agree. I agree. It was shot on a lesser quality film, and I remember the first time I saw it, I'm like, yeah, this just looks off to me. Like not in like a horrific way. It just didn't have that punch. It just didn't look as good. And then when I watched, I mean, good grief, I have the blue. I hope they release. Uh, that's the way it is on 4K, because I will be in line waiting for it, because it looks wonderful on Blu-ray. And I have the one that came out a few years ago. It comes with the original theatrical release, and it comes out. Slim, you have a good day too, buddy. I appreciate it. Um, and Tracy, yes, it just looks phenomenal. I have an OLED TV. I just got this about 2 months ago. Um, I have the OLED, and it just pops. That's all I can say. Marco, is that confirmed? He says King Creole. He's seen it on 4K. It's amazing, and it'll be out this year. Is that definitely confirmed? because like I said, black and white on 4K looks, it's just stunning. That's the only thing I can say about it. But yeah, it like I barely even own any Blu. Or we have some Blu-rays, but the 4K version songs are in sync. Blu-ray. Blu-ray is not for the song. Okay, got it. I got the Blue Hawaii. Yeah, I mean, I went all out. Of course, as the story goes, I did sell off some of my 4K LPs because we were doing a lot of renovations in the house. We put a brand new deck on. We completely redid our downstairs. I wanted an upgrade on this TV. I had an OLED before, but I wanted a bigger one and the newer technology. I got that. I ended up getting a Panasonic, not the very top of the line, but the one right below it. I won't even begin to tell you what I paid for that. It's a Panasonic 4K player to go along with it. And it makes such a difference. And I was able to pay for it because I sold some of those 4Ks or some of those um, FTDs, but I've gotten some of them back actually. That movie looks great. Yeah, Curtis, I do too. I have it. I have it on Blu-ray. Curtis says he has Blue Hawaii, or not Blue Hawaii, Viva Las Vegas on Blu-ray, and it is good. Carrie, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day as well. Yeah, we'll be wrapping this up probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes. We've gone just a little over an hour, and then we'll end this from here. And like I said, I'm sorry I got the day mixed up, but yeah, it looks LGC2. Well, how'd you know that's what I had? Yeah, I do. I have an LG C2. That's exactly what I have. I'm assuming that's what you have, Will? Yeah, it's a 65-inch. The one I had was about 3 years old, 4 years old, maybe. And it was 55-inch. And I've been getting more into like older movies too, like a lot of some couple Clint Eastwood movies, A Fistful of Dollars. And of course, like I said, I got Blue Hawaii. And I wanted something bigger, something technology gets better all the time. So this one actually has a processor in it. It's spectacular. Well, man, I tell you what, like I said, I bought it, I want to say in November. And what's cool about it is last year's model of I think it's called the C1. I think it was like 92 or 93 pounds. This one, for the back and everything, they use composite, like a composite material. So it's half the weight. It's only, I think out of the box, it's 41 or 42 pounds. So it's more than half of the weight that last year's model was. My dad helped me because it was bulky, slim box, but my dad helped me pick it up from Best Buy. And then, and then I got a Polk sound bar and subwoofer. So yeah, I dropped a decent amount of money, but the TV I didn't think was that badly priced. And of course, I think the new models come out, I want to say in March, but I like movies. I love technology. And so yeah, so it's a pretty nice, I'm happy with it. And we have family night and, we watch some stuff, but so yeah, we'll go ahead and I guess wrap this up. I do want to thank all of you for joining. I guess the the people coming on with me was a swing and a miss, but that's okay. I'm not upset about that. I don't know if I would have to come on either and show my face, but this is what I do for my channel. So I do want to thank each and every one of you for joining in. I always appreciate it. Always appreciate the questions and just the fun time we have. I think these are fun. I really enjoy it. But this is like my third live stream in like a week and a half. Who knows? I might even do one. See what's going on. Maybe Thursday or Friday, do another one. Got a video that I got to record and upload, hopefully for today. But thanks to each and every one of you. Appreciate you joining in. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday. All right. Take care, everybody.